Aeon Flux is about, there used to be this cartoon on MTV called Aeon Flux, and it started with this eyelash catching a fly. And it's a really cool cartoon. I definitely suggest you check it out. If you've never seen it, check it out. The movie, though, is trying to be the cartoon, and it's not. It's not succeeding. I think this might have been one of Charlize Theron's first action films, and as I've said before, I am a huge fan of her work. I think she's an excellent action movie star. I like her in other stuff too. Monster is crazy, but this, I don't know, she didn't, it was just, I'm not sure if it was her feeling uncomfortable with the dark hair, which is ridiculous because she has dark hair, like the blonde is dyed, but she seemed uncomfortable with the dark hair until like 25 minutes in. And I know they probably filmed it out of sequence and all that, so it doesn't even make sense. But there's a point in the movie where her hair it looks good on her. And that's like at the end of the movie. Like in the beginning of the movie, it's super short, doesn't look good. Throughout most of the movie, it's like kind of got that long thing, but it's still not, doesn't look good on her. But at the very end of the movie, she starts looking like they started paying the costume and makeup person to like make her look. It looked like through a lot of the movie, the costume and wardrobe department were on their phones, or phones that weren't really a thing back then, so like smartphones weren't, so I don't know what they were doing, but they weren't watching the monitor. They were not watching the monitor. So, and also in that respect, like Laura Flynn Boyle, perfect choice back then, before all that work, that bad work. Mila Jovovich, great choice. She might have been a little bit young back then, but I mean, looked the part. So good. It's just weird. I think it was just really weird for everybody to like go from Charlize Theron blonde, hot blonde, to like Charlize Theron hot brunette or hot black hair. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. It didn't seem to work. The action, it looks like they didn't hire a stunt coordinator. Like maybe back then they thought they didn't need a stunt coordinator or what. But it doesn't look good. It looks like action in Crispin Glover's, it looks like the action in Crispin Glover's What Is It? Or What It Is, or whatever the hell that movie is. If you've never seen that movie, somebody should call the ASPCA, if there is one for slugs, because something about slugs hurts that man inside, and he feels like he needs to show the world the slow mutilation and torture of slugs. And I saw that movie at the Egyptian Theater with a friend of mine, because Crispin Glover was only showing it independently, because nobody would show it. So we went to the screening, and the tickets were like $18. The tickets were $18, and this is like in 2005, probably 2003 or something like that. Like, it was a long time ago, and $18 tickets, I mean, there was 99-cent movie theaters back then. So it was like, it was pretty crazy. Like, first of all, going to the movie at the Egyptian Theater is awesome. So the $18 was worth it. But I'd already seen free movies at the Egyptian Theater with like screenings and stuff. But like, I went to the cast and crew screening of Ghost World there, which was awesome. Oh yeah, and then I'm pretty sure it was at the screening. It was some screen. I think it was either at the screening for Ghost World or at the screening for What Is It? Crispin Glover it was at the screening. It was at the after party of the screening for the cast and crew screening for Ghost World. Crispin Glover was there, like walking around the edge of the perimeter. If you've ever been to the Egyptian Theater, it's like this big courtyard situation, and he was just walking around the edge, like super creepy, like in character from Charlie's Angels. It was just really, really weird. I guess he's always been really weird. I don't know. I feel like he might be really awesome to hang out with, but then again, he might really be a serial killer. It's one or the other, I think. I found a Crispin Glover tangent there, huh? Yeah, it looks like the stunt coordination is just poor. It's poor. The story is basically a terrible virus is wiped out like most of the world, and a virologist, it's very I Am Legend with more people. A virologist saves some amount of the population with a vaccine, but the vaccine makes everybody sterile. So they have to clone everybody to make more people. The guy who is the virologist, every time he gets, he's about to die or whatever, like, What if he dies on accident? I guess they don't have cars. No, they have cars. I guess he's got like guards around him at all times, so that when he dies, he explains he's raising himself, right? So he's always like knowing what he knew before, right? So his kid is his clone. And he's raising a number of clones like you would weed plants. Like his brother is a dick who wants to take over. Excellently played by Johnny Lee Miller. Great casting. Rupert Everett plays the virologist. Good casting. I think this is the first movie I ever saw him in. I was like watching it going, that guy's name's Rupert, right? Like, is it something Rupert? Something Rupert? Or Rupert Everett. Okay. It just came to me. See, you can tell that I didn't write this one down. I wrote the Avatar one down. That's the first one I ever wrote down. You think it's better? I'm not sure. So everybody's clones. He's raising his clones. And then his evil brother, who becomes evil because he just wants to live forever. Right? He wants to keep raising his clone. And he just likes it. Right? It's like Jeff Bezos' wet dream. The virologist, the Rupert Everett is like, working on his cure for sterility. The brother finds out that some amount of the population are getting pregnant naturally, that whatever's happened is worked itself out. So he starts killing all the pregnant women because he doesn't want his whole being reborn situation to collapse. Rupert Everett finds out and is like, dude, what are you doing? You crazy? And then Peter Postwaite, who is the coolest looking guy I've ever seen. Like, I saw the first movie I ever saw him in was that Romeo and Juliet movie. And if you've never seen a Romeo and Juliet movie by Baz Luhrmann, as an actor, I'm telling you right now, it's a good movie. Like, for real. Like, I never liked Shakespeare. As an actor, I was like, oh, God, Shakespeare. It's dead-ass language. Like, dumb as shit. Like, what are you guys talking about? Like, why? What? Like, Shakespeare was dumb as shit. And then I watched that movie, and I was like, oh, my God, it's so awesome. Oh! So I really think that Baz Luhrmann should do that for all the Shakespeare movies. Especially the Scottish play, because you know what? I love the Coen brothers, but that new one, that new version, is literally shot for shot the PBS version that I saw in high school. Straight up. Watch the PBS version, put it side by side to that. I bet you they're exactly the same. But if Baz Luhrmann does them, some people will get behind it. They'll be like, oh my God, it's totally understandable. Like, if you know how to say Shakespeare, people will understand it, even though the words are sideways and backwards. Because you understand what you're saying. Most of the Shakespeare people see, the dude doesn't know what the hell they're saying. I think he should make more of those. I personally wrote a punk rock version of Hamlet that Charlize Theron will be great in. So if you know her, tell her to call me. Peter Postwaite. First movie I saw him in was Romeo and Juliet. I was like, where the fuck does somebody like that come from? Holy fucking shit. Like, where do you get a face like that? Like, what the fuck kind of mutt was that guy? Like, he's the coolest looking mutt human to ever exist. I always wanted to work with him. When he died, I was like, fuck, I can never work with that dude. That sucks. Like, every time all these people die, like Sidney Poitier, I'm just like, oh, damn. That sucks. I never get to work with this guy. Who am I ever going to get to work with? I don't know. So he's up there. Peter Postwaite's up there looking awesome. Being this, like, old dude who's, like, running the clone situation that's kept secret from everybody. Secretly, a memorial blimp floating around in the sky that Men in Black 3 stole to use as their alien invaders. Then somebody's like, oh yeah, we gotta take that out. We gotta kill that. We need to take that down. So they go and crash that noise so that Homeboy doesn't have a choice. He can't be reborn anymore. And I think they might have crashed it into the wall, like they walled off the society, right? And then they don't know what's outside the wall. Who knows what's outside that wall? They should remake Aeon Flux and then let's find out what's outside the wall. Charlize Theron finds out that her sister, who was killed because she was pregnant, is reassigned as a child. So she goes and, like, she busts into this house looking for her sister, but there's just a baby, and she picks up the baby and she's like, oh my God, my sister's a baby. That's when she figures out the whole cloning situation. And then she finds out, Rupert's like, I thought I lost you. Like, they told me that you were corrupted so you couldn't clone you. But Peter Postlethwaite, being the awesome mutt man that he is, like, he was like, no, she's fine. I'm gonna clone her. So fuck you. So he clones her, and then I guess maybe he waits. I guess he waits for some amount of time until he's ready. He's like, I'm done being cloned again. It's been like 500 years, 415 years, 410 years, something like that. You know, if it was made today, it would have been 420. 420 years. So I guess when Peter Postlethwaite's sick of living 410 years into the whole situation, he clones her, and then Rupert Everett sees her and is like, what? Wifey? Where you been? I thought I lost you. And then she finds out she used to be Catherine, his wife, and they had a life in modern today. And in the future, they weaponized everything. They weaponized the grass, they weaponized like fruit trees, they weaponize everything. So it's a very lethal society. I guess they're insulated. It's like North Korea if they had money or more knowledge. I guess overall I would give it 5 out of 10. It's a good watch for nostalgic reasons. There's a couple of good performances, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with the performance. But you can tell towards the end, Charlize Theron looks so much better. Like, she looks so much better towards the end, like physically, like lighting, makeup, hair, makeup, lighting, and all that. You know what I mean? Like, she looks more like the character in the comic or in the cartoon than any other of the scenes, which is really weird. It's like, why didn't you bother throughout the whole thing? So yeah, 5 out of 10. I mean, it's okay. It's dated. The action is nah. I mean, it's an action movie with action. So if you like Charlize Theron being a hot badass, if you like Johnny Lee Miller being a sketchy, not good, definitely not good, definitely not zero cool, being the exact opposite of zero cool. If you like Johnny Lee Miller being a sniveling, if you like old dated sci-fi movies, I think you'll like this film.